Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on February 11th at approximately 11:50 a.m. Whoa. The journey continues today on February 11th, 2022 at approximately 11:50 a.m. PST. Well, to say the least, I butchered that one, but this is a live recording, meaning when I get done, I will simply go back and double check the date that I did that I recorded this. If that's correct, I'll put it as is with the hiccups. By no means am I perfect, but that being said, I did return to this lifetime for one primary purpose, and that is to pass on a very simple message to people, to everybody in existence. And that is that working together, we can make this a better world for most people. Now, when I'm talking about everybody, I am referring to humans, hybrids, other races, other species, as in your cats, dogs, birds, even the plants and the elements of the planet itself, bearing in mind the planet itself is a living entity. Now, when I build myself as a spiritual guide, the tools I offer are ones that, if they apply to me, I'm personally using. If not, I've got in excess of 80,000 clients under my belt, where these tools have been tested through these vast numbers. These are personal testings, as it were, not some document that I've read somewhere. Okay. So there's been a fair amount of testing of the different tools, and the fact that I use them myself where applied, where they apply, is absolutely imperative. If you're following a spiritual guide, make certain they're following the rules they tell you about, or the guidelines they tell you about. In my case, I only follow 3. But compare these 3 to the laws and the guidelines that you live by, whether they're home-based, whether they're a religious following, a spiritual following, a support group such as AA or NA, or even PTSD. Okay. Take a look at the different guidelines that you're living by, even the ones that are written as laws, and compare them to these 3, and I do believe you will find that all of the ones you're following fit inside the 3 I'm following. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. I do believe you will find that every one of the ones you live by will fit inside those 3. The only functional difference in this case is I only have to remember 3. Okay, it gets a whole lot more simplistic when you don't have a whole lot of things to worry about. Now, it was once said that the most brilliant thing anybody ever did was take the simplest concept and complicate it. And that takes us way back. If you're religious, I'm probably going to say something that's going to upset you, and I got over it pretty quick. How about you? Like I said, these are my philosophies. But I was raised Christian. Okay, I was raised in a church, taught about God and Jesus. Okay, and no, I'm not going to go into that whole thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to derail a lot of it. Okay, but when I said the most ingenious thing anybody ever did was took a simple concept and complicated it. Now, if you go back to the book of Exodus, you'll find in either chapter 1 or chapter 2, and forgive me, you're going to have to check it out, or don't, but the original Bible, the original laws that came down, the original commands that came down on the tablets, were never shown to anybody. Now, I cannot prove it, but there were only 3 laws on those. Those being, be true to yourself first, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. But when those tablets were brought down in the first place, when Moses brought them down, he didn't even show them to his brother Aaron, and he shattered them on the ground. Okay, before anybody saw them. Went back up and got another set. But that other set got complicated. Okay, it started out as 3, got expanded to 10, Then we ended up with this neat little problem where the church actually went and changed one of the fifth commandment. Now, I'm not going to go any further into the religious side. I don't expect you to take my word for it. Okay. When I was growing up, even in kindergarten, I questioned a lot of what I was being told. Okay. So take a look at the laws you're following. And I'm not suggesting you walk away from any religious or spiritual guidelines you're living by. Okay. All I'm saying is once you're done whatever you're doing, when you're outside of that church or outside of that gathering, when you're dealing with other people, treat them the way you desire to be treated. Okay. Everything in existence is interlocked. Okay. Now, you start because the backbone of any house, of any business, of any home, of any house, not home. The backbone of any house or business is the finances. So if you haven't done it already, okay, and this is something I gotta do as soon as I get off. As soon as I get done with this video, I'm just making a note for myself here to make certain that I do it. Okay, so if you haven't done it already, take a look at what your finances are saying. What it requires to run your household or run your business. And look at that number, whatever it is. In my case, that's $2,500. Take that number and write the following. Literally, while you're listening to this, if you can. If not, as soon as you get done. Okay. But where it comes to running a household, you literally write down, I have legally attained a minimum of X dollars. In my case, that would be $2,500. Okay. By February 28th, 2022 at 1 minute to midnight. Where it comes to running a business, you write down, I have legally generated X number of dollars by February 28th, 2022 at 1 minute to midnight. Now, if you haven't done this already, I strongly encourage you to do so. Because what I found is that simple method posted somewhere where you're working on your finances helps immensely in getting things on track. Okay, so pay attention to that aspect. Get that written down now. That will help get the energy flowing for the finances in your home. Okay, now again, this is a tool I personally use. And for the last 5 months, I keep upping the level that I'm aiming at. Okay, and for the last 5 months, I've hit it every time. Now, I've already started calculating for this month, for February. Of course, I get paid on the 15th and the last. Right, so I don't have a lot coming in before that. But the last 5 months, I've broken it every time. Okay, and every time I bring it up a little bit. But by getting the energy running, by smoothing out the office, like right now, my office is easy to work with. Okay, I've got the energy here running properly. And as a result, I'm now able to start working on the rest of the house. Because once you get the energy in the backbone of the house working, or the backbone of the business, then you start clearing out the stuff that you don't require. Okay, get rid of the clutter, get rid of the junk that is not helping you. And I'm not saying get rid of all of your stuff. I'm going a little bit further overboard than that. But that's for me personally. I grew up a massive pack rat. Okay, now I'm very happy with what's happened now. I don't know what my weight is right now, but I do know for the first time in months, I am now able to go out and go for my regular walks again because the ice around here is gone. Yeah, I'm up in the far north, I'm up in Canada, say what you will. It's actually colder in Utah half the time than it is here. Okay, but now that the ice is gone, I can get back to walking, and hopefully that will improve my health even more. I am very pleased with the way my blood pressure and what have you is going. And again, this is a mindset. I was told I would be on blood pressure pills for the rest of my life. I'll tell you, it only took me a couple of weeks to bring my blood pressure down and a few months to make sure it stayed that way. but that's been using proper diet, proper exercise, and proper relaxation techniques. Okay. This is not a question of it being a quick fix. The people that you're talking to, if you're aiming at dropping weight, and they're telling you you can lose 20, 30 pounds in a month, you probably can. Is it wise? Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical anything. Well, no, that's not true. I'm a medical anomaly. But it may be true. But in my opinion, you drop that kind of weight, your body's going to go into shock. Okay. What I found is if I'm losing 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week, I'm quite happy. Okay. Now, I'll know what is today. Today is Friday, so in a couple of days I'll check my weight again, because I usually do it on the Sunday to see what my weight looks like. Now, 2 weeks ago I was at 214. I'm very content. No, that's wrong. 2 weeks before that it was at 214. Okay, 2 weeks ago I don't remember when I hit 214. But in any event, 2 weeks ago I was down to 208.8. Okay, so I will check that again. My blood pressure has been running beautifully. So I'm very content with the path that I'm on as far as my health efforts go. If you're happy with the way your health efforts are going, absolutely stand on top of it. But remember, this is a long game. This is not a quick fix. Of course, in all fairness, quick fixes seem to backfire, in my opinion, and from what I've seen. But the thing I'm really pleased with is this little book here. This one here, which is my sequel, I just found out today. Within the next couple of days, it'll be available on authorhouse.com, on Amazon, okay, on Barnes & Noble, and a number of other places online. Okay, very happy with that myself. This is what's called the fruition of a dream that I've been working on for a number of years. To be more specific, for 43 of them. Okay, so again, this is something that's working very nicely. Now, I am I'm hearing rumors. I call them rumors because until it happens, I don't buy it. Okay, I don't watch the news. I get little bits and pieces of information through social media. Okay, I gave up on the news decades ago when I found out that even reporting accidents, more often than not, they got the location right, and that was where the facts ended. So I just quit watching it. But it does look like people are finally started, like the whole issue around this pandemic is slowly winding down. Rumor has it that Alberta has already started dropping the requirement for vaccination passports. And apparently Saskatchewan is right behind it. Now, if you're in Canada, you know where those are. If you're not, if you're from somewhere else, they're provinces. Okay. Specifically closer to the western provinces, but you figure out where they fit. Look at a map, it'll tell you. The fact that these things are starting to happen says we're on the downhill side of this whole thing. Now, 700 years ago, during the Black Plague, it took 5 years to get this straightened out. This time, it's taken a whole lot less. But it does show, I'm seeing more and more reports of people that are looking at the world and starting to reach out to strive to help others. Now, this is what I'm referring to. Is that working together, we can make this a better world. Now, of course, we have this other underlying thing that I'm watching. Okay. This other underlying problem that I'm looking at is the issue of the people that believe, whether you believe in this or not, is not my concern. Like I said, these are philosophies I live by. And considering there's a number of people that have qualified me as an expert in this field myself, I see myself as a specialist. Okay, in alien races, alien technologies, and alien cultures. But I keep seeing people going, when are the aliens going to invade? Because the government says we're going to be invaded. Rest assured, and I don't know how to put this any clearer, but from everything I know, from everything I've seen, from everything I believe, you don't have to worry about an alien invasion because of one critical factor. Okay, now we start with the simple issue that aliens are very similar in a lot of ways to humans, not in appearance, not in culture, but in their background drives. They too desire to be happy. They too desire to be respected. There are all kinds of different qualifiers in there, but ultimately they have to eat something to survive. They have to drink to stay alive. When they're tired, they sleep. When they're upset, they get mad. The list goes on. But the thing we have to realize is if any one of the alien races were actually planning on invading, first of all, the government wouldn't know about it. Second of all, the fight would be over way before anybody knew about it, before they even knew it was starting. Okay, I talked to myself, and you can believe this if you will or not. Because here's the thing. Okay, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for, what, 45 years now. Role playing, letting my imagination do what it will. And then I've got this neat little series here that I'm writing. And it's a toss up. Is the imagination driving my thought process? And therefore I'm building it into the book. Or is my insight and my experience the backbone for what I'm writing? Now, the backbone of how I'm writing these is using the Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing game philosophies and what have you in order to put it to print. Okay, but when I talk to the off-worlders, to their military command, about an invasion, if they were going to invade, the first thing they do is pull into the orbit of Mars, and they would hit Earth with a broad spectrum subquantum electromagnetic pulse that not only would wipe out every electronic on the system, in existence, but it would wipe out every electronic component that was built, as in all the wiring. Okay. Now, of course, if all the wiring's gone and all the electronics are gone, you're going to be hard-pressed to make the wiring again. That'd be the first thing they did. Okay, net result, you don't get news. It's just all communication collapses. And by the way, that also means that every battery-operated system would be wiped out. Every hand-generating power system would be gone. Okay. Once they did that, they'd move into the orbit, into just outside the orbit of the moon. And they would start picking off the satellites that are sitting in orbit and dropping them onto the planet, thereby creating absolutely phenomenal damage. Now, of course, we have to remember, if they knock out all the electronic components, any nuclear power plant will sooner or later overload and detonate. And you can picture what's going to happen there. At least I hope so. Would be nice if it didn't come to that, but this is why I say an invasion is completely it's out of the functional thought of worry. By all means, if you choose to worry about it, be my guest. But that's kind of like asking, when's God going to come down and straighten out this mess? Well, let's remember, God, if you believe in God, and many of the off-worlders do, God gave everyone the irrevocable right of free will, of freedom of choice. Irrevocable even by him, by her, by it, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so he's not coming down to straighten this out. He will absolutely, if you sit down and you do what you consider praying or you do what you consider thinking, he absolutely will encourage you to straighten things out, to put your negative issues aside, and to start focusing on helping each other. He will absolutely do that. And this is where gathering with the churches, in a church, in a temple, in a support group of any form, becomes a beneficial thing. It becomes a useful commodity. So I'm not telling you walk away from them. I will tell you, if you're being taught, as I pointed out before, that fearing God, fearing an alien invasion, fearing a human invasion, if you've been taught that's a great thing to focus on, you might want to reconsider. Okay, absolutely, I'm a firm believer that you should have a stockpile of food behind try English? you should have a stockpile of food beside you, okay? I personally recommend 3 to 6 months, okay? Plus a stockpile of money, so that if something happens, you've got the cash there to deal with things. Okay, I'm in the process of rebuilding that because I made some mistakes myself. Okay, so this is why I say I'm not perfect. But I am quite happy to say that when I hit that point, that spot of peace of mind, which I honestly never thought I would get to, okay, virtually everything changed. My health is coming online properly. Still working on the teeth thing, but that'll have to deal with for a little bit. My health is coming online, my energy levels are coming up, and I'm getting rid of the junk that is no longer functionally useful to me. Okay, I've been considering getting rid of some stuff that doesn't really have a lot of value anymore. But it does serve as a personal reminder. And one of these days, I may go and get some to show them to you. But I have all the way down my hallway little what are called boffin heads, or little figureheads of different types of humans, and different types of animals, and different types of plants, all hanging down my hallway. Now, the reality of it is this: those serve as a reminder to me that all of us working together can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, that little wood sign up there that I point out, Lord knows how many times, I am worth it. Those are the four most powerful words where it comes to turning around your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-motivation in any language I've ever heard. Those are the four, heard or seen for that matter, those are the four most powerful words I've come across in combination. Now, the good news from all of this is that working together, we can make this a better world. It's time to start realizing, much as I am a very staunch supporter of people that join the military or join first responders to take care of their own families, to take care of the community, to take care of their countries. Absolutely a firm supporter of them. Okay. Now, do I hand out a bunch of money to these people? No. Frankly, I don't have a lot to work with. Okay. But much as I am an absolute supporter of the people that have joined these communities, these organizations, I seriously question the guidance of the people at the top end because of, and its personal outlook on it. Okay. Now, of course, being diagnosed epileptic when I was only 2 years old, okay, that wrote off any prayer of my getting into the military. Something about automatic weapons and epileptic seizures. Okay. So, I don't have a problem there. Personally, I didn't want to go to war anyway. Because war itself, no matter who you talk to, whether we're talking war or just a simple physical fight, war, conflict has never brought peace. It's brought quiet, but it does not bring peace. And with that in mind, it's absolutely imperative that you realize that this is the mindset that's got to be shifted. The education system, the political base, the religious lines, they all need an overhaul. But it's up to you to make that happen. So we start with the home front. Okay, actually, in all fairness, start right here. When I finally pieced it together and went, I'm content with the way I am. I'm content with my outlook on life. And I no longer am trying to fit in to the way other people see it. Okay, other people have different views. Very good friend of mine, we got into a discussion, and we're on very different pages. I do not agree with the modern education system because, in my opinion, the system itself is a good system. Problem is that it has completely left a number of people behind. Okay, and not dealt with. When you're talking education, the people, when they come out, if they're given the marks to say they have educated, that they've been educated, they should, in my opinion, be able to do that. If they're getting the marks without the ability to do it, okay, They're failing the system badly. It's very much like driver education up here in Canada. I see a lot of people that get their license that, which says, oh, you took the test, you passed, you know what you're doing. And yet I watch these drivers out there, and I'm sure you've seen them yourself, and you swear they don't know what a signal light is. They don't know what a stop line, what a stoplight means. They don't know what a stop line is. These are things that they are being told, that you're thinking when they give you the license. The general public goes, oh, they know how to drive. They don't, in most cases, in my opinion. Okay, I shouldn't say in most, but because unfortunately it's the negative one drivers out there that create a problem. But until people start demanding, much like they did with this convoy, that things change. Now, I'm not debating what started the convoy, but the side effect of that convoy has been monumental. Okay. Do I support the idea that, that masses of people should change certain things? Well, here's the thing. When the unions first started, okay, they started for a reason that was good. And then they got bent out of shape when they started stepping in and forbidding people that were incompetent or not doing their work. When the unions stepped in and stopped them from being fired, the unions became crippled. They crippled themselves. The same thing has happened with the educational system. It was set up right, but when it became an issue of let's get them through the system, okay, and just say they did the work and get them out there. If the people are not able to do the tasks, then quite frankly, they shouldn't be put through the system. They shouldn't be checked off. When you're looking at the medical system is supposed to be health care. But so many times, people are being shoved through so fast that they're not getting the care. And of course, if you're not teaching the people how to take care of themselves to start with, this is going to be an ongoing problem. And this is why, like they did with the convoy, pulling together, working towards a common goal, following inside the laws that are laid out. Okay, this is a critical issue that we've got to start focusing on. We've got to start minimizing the negative stuff and maximizing the positive. Okay, when you do that across the board, things will change in your favor. Things will change in society's favor. Fortunately, as I'm seeing lately, this is actually working. Things are starting to shift. And you'll find as tensions release, and this is why you get the energy in your own home working right. When the tension starts to release itself, when you get the energy working properly, what ends up happening is your ability to cope with the outside world becomes that much easier. Now, if you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you like absolutely subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that alert button to remind you when the next video comes out, because I do try and get one out a day at some point. In the meantime, we are hitting the half-hour mark, so I'm going to call this a day, and I'm going to ask you, absolutely, take care of yourselves. Until we meet again, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.